So I was saying that I'm very happy to be here with you Thank you. Yeah, it works. And to see so many friendly faces, which makes you very welcome. So thank you very much. I would like to thank the organizers and especially Anna, the head of the Eurydice unit in Poland, for inviting me to present the latest Eurydice publication, Languages in Secondary Education, an overview of national tests in Europe. My talk will have three main parts. First of all, I'm going to say a few words about the Eurydice network. What is the Eurydice network? Then I will explain briefly why we needed an overview of national tests in languages. And finally, we'll see together what we learn from this overview. Currently, 37 countries are part of the Eurydice network, which makes actually 41 national units. Why do we have more national units than countries? Well, it's quite simple. In some countries, the central government is not responsible for education matters, but lower levels of authorities are. For example, in my home country, Belgium, the central state is not responsible for education, but the three communities are. Hence, for Belgium, we have three so-called national units. In addition to the national units, we have a central or European unit based in Brussels at the executive agency managing some EU programs such as the Erasmus Plus program. And to put it very simply, we can say that the national units are providing information, and the central unit is analyzing the information and drafting the reports. Our main mission as a Eurydice network is to provide those responsible for education systems and policies in Europe with European level analysis and information which will assist them in their decision making. In order to achieve that, we produce comparative reports on education in Europe, and we also make description of national education systems. Our target audience are policymakers at European and national levels, but also academics, we hope, and maybe also the wider public. So, why did we need an overview? 2002 is quite an important date in the short story I'm about to tell you, because in 2002, the EU heads of state and government gathered in Barcelona and called for further action to improve the mastery of basic skills, in particular by teaching at least 2 foreign languages from a very early age, and for the establishment of a linguistic competence indicator. It was decided because in those days there was no data on students' competencies in languages. So it was decided to launch a European survey on students' competencies in languages. This survey was referred to this morning by Nick Saville, and the results of this survey were published in 2012. The following up actions were to, first of all, create it was planned to create a European benchmark on languages on the basis of the European survey's result. It was also planned to start implementing the second round of the survey. Unfortunately, there was no political agreement on the benchmark. So instead, the Council conclusions on multilingualism and the development of language competencies, issued in 2014, invited the Commission to explore the feasibility of assessing language competencies in Member States, including by using national data when available. And as a response to this invitation, the Commission asked for an overview of national tests, that's the Eurydice report, and also a study assessing the comparability of existing national tests. And this study was carried out by Cambridge English Language Assessment and will be published next Friday. So, in other words, the idea was to try to use national data from national tests to try to monitor students' progress in languages. Hence, the need to know more about national tests at national level and to see whether they could be comparable. So the Eurydice overview focuses on existing national tests assessing language competencies of students in secondary education in 37 education systems. By national tests, we mean standardized tests examination set by central top-level public authorities and carried out under their responsibility. By language, we mean all languages except the language of instruction, regional languages, and also ancient languages. The first question we try to ask is, when were national tests first introduced? And we found out that in the majority of cases, national tests in languages were introduced after 2001. Several reasons can explain this fact, and I propose them to you as hypotheses. There is, first of all, the growing importance of foreign languages in the curriculum across Europe. There is also the development of the CEFR. And finally, there are parallel developments in European education systems, such as decentralization, increased school autonomy, and a growing focus on monitoring the quality of education. All these developments taking place at the same time could explain the introduction of national tests in languages in many countries after 2000. This being said, we have also observed that in some countries have a long tradition of national testing in languages. This is the case in France, Finland, Ireland, UK, and Norway. We also try to see at which ISCET level are national tests mostly administered. ISCET is an acronym for an international classification of education programs. And ISCET 2 roughly corresponds to lower secondary education, and ISCET 3 to upper secondary education. So what this map shows clearly is that in the majority of countries, administer tests, national tests in languages, both at ISCET level 2 and 3. And a minority of countries administer tests only at ISCET level 2 or only at ISCET level 3. Another question we try to answer is, what are national tests' main purposes? Here we divided purposes in two main categories. First of all, the category of high-stakes tests for students. These tests summarize students' achievements at the end of a school year or an educational stage, prior to taking formal decisions about their future education. They are used to award certificates or to inform important decisions concerning progression. The second category is the low-stakes tests for students. These tests evaluate the performance of the education system as a whole, or the performance of schools or individual students. They do so in order to inform improvements in teaching and learning. This figure clearly shows that in nearly all countries there are high-stake tests for students. And these tests in the majority of the countries take place at upper secondary education. Low-stakes tests are also in many countries, but in a smaller number. To be precise, in 21 education systems. And you can see that in the majority of them, they take place at ISCET level 2. Another interesting thing to look at is to see which languages are tested by national tests. Nearly all countries have developed at least one national test in English. This is not surprising. But there are one exception. Actually, the two of the three Belgian communities, the German-speaking and the Flemish communities. In Belgium, French is the first learned language. And also, Belgium is one of the countries where national tests have just recently been introduced. So we can think that maybe in some years, they will develop national tests in English too. We also found out that around half of the countries have national tests assessing at least 5 languages. And in the majority of cases, these tests only take place at ISCET level 3. France, Norway, Ireland, and UK have national tests in many languages. And probably you note that these countries are also the countries with a long tradition of national testing, as we've seen before. Another point worth looking at is what are the skills assessed by national tests. Actually, almost half of the national tests assess all 4 major skills through centrally designed tests. And the least assessed skills through centrally designed tests are the speaking skills. We also found out that some countries administer national tests where the part assessing speaking skills is designed at local level. This is the case in Bulgaria, Denmark, Italy, Netherlands, Austria, Slovenia, Slovakia, the UK, and Norway. The final point will be about the CEFR scale. We try to see whether national tests were related to CEFR levels. And this map shows clearly that in the majority of countries, all existing national tests are linked to CEFR levels. 3 countries, namely Spain, Portugal, and Luxembourg, are countries where some existing national tests only are linked to CEFR levels. And finally, we have a dozen of countries where none of the existing national tests are linked to CEFR levels. We tried to see which CEFR levels were covered by national tests taking place at ISCET level 2. The number 24 refers to the number of tests at ISCET level 2 linked to the CEFR levels. And you can see that nearly all tests cover A2. Many tests cover B2. We also found out that most tests cover more than one CEFR level, and the test covering one level only assess students either at level A1 or A2. I think Iceland is the only exception with testing their students at level B1. And we did the same exercise for tests at ISCET level 3. By coincidence, we have exactly the same number of tests linked to the CEFR levels at ISCET level 3, 24. And there you can see that nearly all tests cover B2 and B1. Most tests cover more than one CEFR level, and the test covering one level only mostly test students at level B2. I'm not showing this picture to you just to share my passion for flowers and nature in general with you, but to show that, to me, this picture symbolizes very much the situation of national tests in Europe. We can say that all countries have developed national tests in languages, but they are all very, very different. And during this presentation, I try to show you what they have in common, but also highlight their differences. And so these are the points we have seen together during this presentation. We saw that we have high-stakes national tests in nearly all countries and low-stake national tests in around half of them. We saw that national tests administered at ISCET level 2 and 3 are in the majority of the countries. We saw that the majority of the current tests were introduced after 2001, but we saw also that some countries have a long tradition of national testing in languages. Nearly all countries have at least one national test in English, but half of them have national tests assessing more than 5 languages. Speaking skills are the least tested skills. In the majority of the countries, all national tests are linked to the CEFR levels. And at ISCET level 2, nearly all tests cover A2 and many cover B1. At ISCET level 3, nearly all tests cover B2 and B1. So this concludes my presentation. I will encourage you to visit our website, the website of the EURIDICI network. This this report has been published just today, so you can have a look at it today. And we have many more interesting reports on education matters that you could find useful. Thank you very much. Dziękuję bardzo.